The Eighth Amendment prohibits extensive and unreasonable bail. It also prohibits cruel and unusual punishments, such as death by firing squad, being whipped, branded, pilloried, ducked in water, placed in stocks, and many other horrible punishments early colonists and farmers have come up with. Punishments like these were being used before the amendment was adopted to the Bill of Rights in 1791. It originated in the English Bill of Rights in 1685. The Quakers had already been substituting these type of punishments around the Pennsylvania area with the idea of incarceration. The Eighth Amendment protects criminals to serve a fair punishment and the victims to see their offender serve a rightful sentence.
Torture and punishments are immoral and completely disregarding to what is right in this world. This amendment helps to make it so there is more order in how people are punished. It creates boundaries and makes sure that people do not get out of hand and punished unjustly. A large controversy over what is cruel and unusual punishment would be the use of the death penalty to criminals that would be put on death row mostly for raping and killing. Three of the most common arguments for why the death penalty should no longer be ruled constitutional are because it is hypocritical, it costs more money for people to be put to death than keep them in prison, and a large number of people put to death may be innocent.
A case that created lots of controversy over whether or not the death penalty violated the Eighth Amendment was about Dennis McGar's execution, which lasted 24 minutes of him gasping for air. He was executed on January 16, 2014, with an experimental lethal injection of midazolam, a sedative, and hydromorphone, a morphine derivative. The state of Ohio used this because they are all out of their usual lethal injection. A U.S. District Court judge said that McGuire and his attorneys failed to submit proper evidence that McGuire would experience air hunger, and said it was within constitutional limits.
Another older court case involved Patrick Kennedy, now 49, raped his at the time 8-year-old stepdaughter in the state of Louisiana. The rape was so brutal that the young girl had to be rushed into emergency surgery. Kennedy was convicted of rape and sentenced to the death penalty in 2003 under the 1995 Louisiana law. The law stated that an adult who rapes a minor under the age of 12 could be sentenced to death. The case was taken to the Supreme Court in 2008, where Kennedy tried to have the death penalty repealed, saying it was cruel and unusual punishment. The Supreme Court ruled that the death penalty was in fact cruel and unusual punishment, even if Kennedy had intended murder. Louisiana tried to defend themselves using the 10th Amendment, which gives more right to a state in these situations than the federal government. During this time, the court defended itself, making it clear there is a difference between murder, intended murder, and rape, and what Patrick Kennedy was tried and sentenced for was just rape, and the death penalty does not fit that crime.
The Eighth Amendment regarding cruel and unusual punishment is one of the most debated topics in past and present human rights issues, from Guantanamo Bay to the death penalty. The legal speak in a court case referring to this clause of the Eighth Amendment is confusing and often may sound almost contradictory, but it is not. It contributes greatly to the rights of criminals so they are treated justly.
Cruel forms of punishment such as torture should never be tolerated in our country. Just think, without this amendment, you could be in prison for life or put to death for a simple traffic violation or forgetting to pay your parking ticket.